Okay, it's Dr. Gertis again, and in this module, we're going to talk about the MBA curriculum. So a normal class, now we have online classes and we have face-to-face classes and we have accelerated classes. So I'll talk about the difference. So in the fall semester and spring semester, you have the same kind of options, and it gets a little different in the summer, but we'll talk about how that works. So a normal class will be 15 weeks long, a normal semester, and that could be face-to-face classes, which meet once a week, or it could be online classes, which meet the same length of time, although they don't have the class time. Spring semester, same thing, 15 weeks long, face-to-face classes meet once a week from 6 to 9. So it may be Mondays from 6 to 9. Then the summer, we have a little bit of a different schedule. We have what's called an extended Maymester. An extended Maymester is a 13-week, so it's almost a full semester, cuts out 2 weeks. Now, these are online or blended courses, and then you have a couple of other options in the summer. So there's summer one, which are 5 weeks each, which sound great. One of the nuances here is that classes meet twice a week, so they might meet on Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 10 to kind of make up for, I mean, it's only 5 weeks, so to try to make up some of the difference. Then there's another alternative as well, that's accelerated 1 or accelerated 2, and this can go year round, not just in the summer. But these classes are 7 weeks each. They have a online component, so it essentially doubles it, making it 14 out of 15 weeks. It's very close. And the classes for accelerated meet once per week, and there's this online component required. So this is what we call an accelerated course, as opposed to the regular residential course or the online course. Now, foundational courses in the MBA program. Let's say you came from psychology or sociology or communications or some other discipline other than business. In your case, what we don't want to do is set you up to fail by putting you into an advanced accounting class when you hadn't had basic accounting. So we ask that, and we'll do this in the screening process, that you complete busy 501, which is fundamentals of financial accounting, and then 502, which is fundamentals of managerial accounting, or whatever else you might need, 503, 504, 505, or etc. Okay, so now what we're trying to do again is make sure that you have the ability to be able to do the graduate level work, because some of you come from disciplines where you're not prepared for it by your undergraduate degree, and that's okay. I came from a government and psychology double major with a minor only in business. And so I was a little behind the 8 ball in finance because I didn't have that in my minor. So it was a struggle. So we don't want you to fail out. We want you to be able to be successful. So that's why we have these foundational courses. So if you do these are preparatory for the other more advanced courses in the graduate program. Now, there are undergraduate alternatives as opposed to a graduate level course. So some students who are required to complete prerequisites for our MBA program elect to take undergraduate courses to satisfy the requirements. You're allowed to do that. Now, the preference would be that you take 500 level courses, what you just saw here, 501, 502, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That will get you up to speed. So for example, in economics, so if you take 505, that's the equivalent of 2 undergraduate courses getting you up to speed, micro and macro. It's just a more expedient way of doing this. Okay, that's the preference. Now, once you start the actual MBA program itself, you start with these classes. Busy 610, that's a management class. Busy 615, a marketing class. 623, an ethics class. 625, which is a managerial accounting class, advanced managerial accounting. 635, which is financial management practices. And then at near the end of your program, you want to take 650, which is strategic planning and analysis. That's the capstone course. Now, everybody, regardless of what emphasis they are going to take these courses as the core. Now, we also have a thing called a quasi-core. Think of a quasi-core as a required elective. Okay, that's why it's called a quasi-core. A required elective might be a better name for it. You have to take one of these electives, and periodically we come up with a new elective that we're just running as a special topics that will tell you this could count as your quasi-core. So it's either going to be an accounting class, a finance class, an economics class, an information systems class, or international finance and monetary policy, which is kind of more finance than anything else. So it's one of these kind of things we feel are necessary for you, but we want to give you the flexibility in order to choose which one you think is most important for you in your individual situation. So you have the core, then you have the quasi-core, then you have a general elective or law. So if you had a business law course in your undergraduate program and you passed it with a C, you do not have to go on and take another law course. You can just take any other general elective. So we already sort that out on the very front end when we're accepting you, and then we tell you which, yes, you have to take the law, or no, you've already passed that bar and you can go on. You really shouldn't get through an MBA program without having some grounding in business law. Okay? Then you have an emphasis. The emphasis is going to be 9 hours of your program, and it could be in accounting, finance, leadership, management information system, or human resource management. Now, if you pick and choose one from accounting and one from leadership and one from HR, that's fine. What you'll have is a emphasis in general management, because you've picked and chosen which ones you think will most benefit you in your situation. Now, there are a few catalog guidelines you need to be aware of. We have a few interesting rules here, and again, the rules are meant to protect you, to help you get through the process, because that's what we want for you. So the first is the 2 of 5 rule here. The 2 of 5 rule means that 625, that's accounting, and 635, that is finance, need to be 2 of your first 5 MBA level classes. That is not including your prerequisite courses. It's just once you get to the MBA level classes, 2 of your first 5 have to be accounting and finance. Now, there's a reason that we do it. You build on accounting and finance, and these are, for some people, some of the more difficult classes. So once you clear this bar, you're not home free, but you are in a much better position to be able to complete the program. What we don't want you to do is get to the very last class and then wash out and have a real problem. Okay? You must complete 610, 615, and 625 and 635 before you can take 650. So you need those 4 of those 5 classes in order to take 650. The only one not in that list was ethics, and you can take that before or after. Okay, you must have 6 years from your start date to your complete date. So now most students will finish this in 2 years, 2.5 years, sometimes 3 years, depending on how fast they're moving along. If you do 2 classes a semester, now 2 classes a semester is full time. Okay, 2 classes a semester, you'll be done in 2 years. You'll be fine, no worries. Okay. So most students take 2 to 3 years. Some students, while they're in the middle of the program, life happens and they go through some kind of personal hardship that is going to knock them out for a semester or 2. That's okay. Come back, finish your program. But you have 6 years from the time you start, so the clock starts ticking. Now, if you sit out 2 major semesters, a major semester is a fall or a spring. If you sit out 2 major semesters, you have to reapply to the MBA program, and you're in what's called a new catalog year. Now, that simply means, a new catalog year means if we change anything in the program, you're in the new changed program. You can't go back to the old one if you sat out 2 major semesters. So try to keep going if you can. If you can't, if life has happened, you lost a job and you had to move across the country or whatever, that's okay. We understand that. This is a program designed for working professionals. We get it. But try not to sit out 2 major semesters if you can avoid doing so. Now, grading, I want to point something out. The standard grading breakdowns, unless stated in the syllabus, are going to be A, B, C, and F. Now, look where the lines are. I put a line here between B and C, and between a double line between C and F. A could mean anything, depending on the professor. So academic, so that each professor has academic freedom, they set what an A is. So some will have a 94 to 100, some will have a 90 to 100. My A will be a 92 to 100, and somebody else's will be different. So I have a graduated scale, for example, in my class. 92 to 100, the top 8 points is an A. The next 10 points is a B, and the next 12 points is a C. And there's no such thing as a D in graduate land. Okay, if you get an F in any particular class, you're in a world of trouble, because what it takes to finish is a 3.0. That is a 3.0 on a 4-point scale. So mostly A's and B's. You can have a couple of C's, but not too many. Okay, and a 3.0 graduate GPA. Now here's the issue. If you earn one F, one FA, that's failure for absence or withdrawal failing, that means you're out of the program. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. First F, you are out. If you earn 3 C's, you are out of the program. So be very, very careful. Don't, take every class seriously. The greatest problem that I see that students run into is they try to tack this MBA program onto part of their life without making room for it. And so they just kind of give it, oh yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it, and instead of planning it into their schedule. And when they have that attitude, what they do is they rush, turn in sloppy work, and fail a major project, and then fail out of the program, or plagiarize, even worse. And so you don't want to have that kind of approach to it. You take this as seriously as you would pursue a promotion, and you'll be in good shape. Okay, so what do these things mean? A W, a WP, or a WF? So each semester, you're going to look for a few important dates. So the last day to drop add, that's without any charges or any penalty, is for a just drop add, simple drop add, no charges. It's the Friday after the semester begins. So we begin on Monday. With that Friday, we're going to have that last day of drop add, and we'll let you know about these kind of dates. Okay, last day to withdraw with a W. That means you withdraw. Now, you still have to pay your tuition, but it has no effect on GPA. Some major life event just happened. You realize I'm not going to, maybe it's a good life event. Maybe you got promoted at work and you realize, hey, I got to get on top of this first. That's okay. Again, life happens. We understand that. But you got to give the MBA program enough attention to be sustainable. So you decide, hey, I'm going to withdraw. A penalty of tuition is still required, but you will have no effect on GPA. You'll not be out of the program. This is about midway through the semester, and we'll alert you to that as well. The last day to withdraw with a WP, that's withdraw passing, or WF. Now, a WP is this is based on the average in the course at the time of the withdrawal. Okay, you still have to pay your tuition, but if you withdraw while you're still passing, okay, that's different. You still withdraw, you're still in the program. If you try to withdraw failing, that's the alternative. You might as well just try to gun it out and try to make it, because if you get a WF, you're out of the program, just like if you have an F. That's about 11 weeks into the semester. So there are 3 dates. Drop add, about a week in, a W about midway, and about 11 weeks, maybe 12 weeks is WPWF. Be really careful with those dates. Make sure you're doing well at each of these checkpoints. Now, there's a final exam for Busy 600, and we're going to talk about that at the very end. The final exam, don't forget, you must log into Blackboard and complete the MBA student survey and the final exam. There are other things that you're going to need to do over the course of the semester, and so you got to be aware of that, but I want you to be particularly aware of the final exam. You have to pass with an 80% on that final exam, or I can't register you for additional programs, okay? So what are you going to do now? Now you're going to go and you're going to do your assignment for this module. And when you complete that, you go on to the next module. Thank you so much for your time and attention in this module.